Okay, to reinforce some of the things I said previously, let's just go through how we would graph this now. We look at this and we say, okay, if x is 1, -1, or 2, I'm going to have, the graph is going to have to go through the x-axis. So -1, or go through or be on the x-axis, because as we've seen, we don't go through, but we do land on the x-axis for one point here. Okay, so our zeros are -1, 1, and 2. So, you know, what would we do? Okay, we'd say, okay, here we got -1, 1, and 2. And we plug in x equals 0. We find that our y-intercept is -4. So we'll draw our y-axis, and we can draw the y-intercept. I've labeled it here. I'm not going to have room to label it there. I'm not going to take the time. Then, I can reason out, if x is less than -1, if we're to the left of this point, then, of course, x is negative, so x minus 1 will be negative, and so will x minus 2, and x plus 1 will be negative because x is less than -1. If x is -1, of course, this gives us 0, but if x is any less than that, this is going to be less than 0. So, to the left of -1, we have a negative, and a square of a negative. Okay? Well, a negative times a negative is positive. Multiply that by the square of a negative, which is positive, and we get a positive value. So we know the graph has to be up to the left of -1. It has to be above the x-axis. Now we also know, and it's implicit, that it comes down from very big values, and we've seen why that happens. Then if x is greater than 2, well, if x is greater than 2, this is going to be positive. Of course, it's squared, so it was going to be positive anyway. This, you know, 2 plus 1 is 3. That's certainly positive. And 2 minus 1 is 1. That's certainly positive. So if x is bigger than 2, both of these are going to be positive. So the graph has to go up on this side. So now I know, okay, I got to go through this, and this, and I'm going to be up here, and I'm going to have to go up here. How am I going to do that? Well, as I've seen and showed earlier, my only alternatives are to come down through this point, come up here, turn around, go up through this point, as in this picture, or come down through this point, go up through this one, turn around, come down to this one, and then go up, as in this picture. And because of what we've seen here, that's going to occur on the factor that's squared. Okay? So we do this. Not very well drawn. It kind of goes a little beyond vertical there, but you get the idea. Okay, that's how we construct this graph. Now we ask, okay, what would happen if instead of a square on this one, we had a cube? I recommend you think through that before you watch the next clip.